This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. So what have I got for you today then? Well, first of all, it's an apology. Basically, this is the third Gary Moore themed video I've done in about the past 2 weeks. So I promise I will endeavour to be a little bit more varied in my output as time moves on. But let me tell you where this idea came from. Basically, a couple of weeks ago, I did a video about Gary Moore, specifically about his Still Got the Blues album. It was one of these Why I Love This Album type videos, and when I was talking about the title track, I said, you know, this track, Still Got the Blues, and, you know, The Loner, and, you know, most notably Parisian Walkways, they're all essentially based on the same chord sequence. And in an interview, Gary you know, openly admitted that he'd borrowed this chord sequence from an old jazz standard called Autumn Leaves. And given that these kind of Saturday videos where I do a little bit of a kind of slightly off-centre cover version of a tune have seemed to be quite popular, I thought, yeah, now there's an idea. Let's do a jazz-themed Gary tune. And then on the live stream a couple of weeks ago, someone said, why don't you do a video, you know, with a more acoustic flavour to it? So I thought, okay, acoustic, jazz, Parisian. I think you can see where this is going. I thought I'd cobble together a sort of Django, Reinhardt, gypsy jazz, hot club themed or inspired version of Parisian Walkways. So that's what's coming up next, followed by a little bit of an explanation as to what's going on in the tune. So why not light yourself a Gauloise, pour yourself some absinthe and get ready to party like it's 1929, because here is Parisian Gypsy Walkways. Okay, so let's take a quick look at exactly what was going on there. Starting off with that intro part there, that chord melody thing. Now, basically, this isn't as difficult as you might think it is, because, as you may have heard me mention in several different solo analysis videos, the secret to a melodic solo is to make sure that you are making any prominent notes in that solo, you're quoting notes from the underlying chord. So if you flip that around, you can say, well, if you're holding down the chord shape, you're already holding down many of the important notes that you're going to play in the melody. So, for instance, this A minor chord here contains an E note on the top, on the first string. So all you got to do is figure out where that melody goes from there, and the melody basically is like that. Okay, so I can easily find my way round that little group of notes there, starting from this A minor chord with the prominent E note on top, like this. And then the next melody note would be the F. But sometimes you have to kind of compromise, and I had to move this up an octave to here. And that is part of this D minor 7 chord. And then we get just this little run. So you kind of put that together and you get... And then the next one would be, the next prominent note is this D note here, which is actually it's actually a G11th chord in the actual chord sequence, but I play it here as a G9th chord. And then we have a C note in the C chord, like that. Next we're going to an F major 7th chord, which has a C note in it, and this little part of the melody goes like that, so we can, kind of find a way around those notes using open strings and this kind of thing. And again, the next melody note would be the D there, but I take that up an octave here, which is in this B minor 7 flat 5 chord. And then you've got this B note here as part of the E7 chord, G sharp note to finish up to an A there, like that. So it all goes together to create that kind of thing. And you can see I'm not having to do big stretches. I'm not having to play too many unusual and uncommon chord shapes. And, it just kind of works. And it's quite doable to put a little chord melody thing together like that without too much trouble. Now, that little trick of, thinking about the main melody notes as already being there as part of the chord shape that you're holding down. Then we come into like the song proper, and well, let's have a look at the chord sequence here, because this is going to tell us what the overall scale is that we can use to sort of join all those little bits and pieces together like that we've just been talking about. The chord sequence for this song is A minor, it then goes to D minor 7th. Then, as I mentioned earlier, it's G11th next. Don't be scared. G11th is just a D minor 7, but with a G note added in the bass. That then takes us to C major 7th, then F major 7th, then B minor 7 flat 5 once again. Don't be scared. If I take that B note off, you can see it's just a D minor chord, but with the B bass note. Like that. Then E7. So if you kind of think about, well, okay, that's got a basic overall tonality of A minor, then obviously A minor pentatonic is a pretty good place to start. But the D minor 7 chord, as we mentioned earlier, has an F note in it, which isn't in the in the A minor pentatonic. How do we know what notes are in A minor pentatonic? Dead easy. It spells the word caged. So just rearrange that into alphabetical order. C, A, G, E, D becomes A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A, C. Like that, you've got A minor pentatonic. And given that none of those notes is an F note, the fact that there is an F note in this chord, at least this chord, there's a couple of other F notes in there as well, it means that we can basically add the F note in. So there it is there. And there as well. And the E7 chord and the B minor 7 flat 5 both have B notes in them, so we can add in a B note as well. There's the B note there and there and there. There's the F note there and there. And that's what it looks like when you add them into an A minor pentatonic. There is one other note that we can add in, and that is the E7 chord. Has a G sharp note in it. And if you take the G note in this scale that we've got earlier, which is actually the A natural minor scale, or you could call it the A Aeolian mode. If you take the G note, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and move it up to the G sharp, every time you hit that E7 chord, then you've now got a new scale called the A harmonic minor. The A harmonic minor scale, and you'll find that the melody does kind of employ that scale at various points when that G sharp note comes in there. And, you know, then it's all about how do you kind of make the melody sound, you know, a little bit less like the original, but still make it sound like the melody. Well, it's just all about the phrasing, really. I mean, the original melody is something like that. So, you know, it's just a case of giving it that more kind of minor swing kind of feel, like that kind of thing. Just basically fitting it into the overall environment that you're playing over rhythmically and chordally, you know, and then you can start taking little bits of liberties with it, you know. Like that, kind of adding those kind of little touches. There is one other part of the lead guitar I want to just kind of briefly mention. At the end of the second verse, there is this A7 chord. It kind of goes to A minor, then A7 as a way of taking us up to the D minor 7 at the beginning of the bridge. That is what we call a secondary dominant chord. That A7 going to the D minor. Secondary dominant chords are just seventh chords, A7, whatever it is in this case, and it's a fifth above your target chord. The target chord in this case being the D minor 7th. So because we're heading towards a D minor 7th, we take the fifth of the D root note, which is an A. There's your fifth. Okay, just think of it like a power chord. Take the fifth of that target chord, which in this case is A, turn it into a seventh chord, and it takes you to that D minor 7th beautifully. And anytime you've got that kind of chord change, like that, a scale I do like to use quite a bit here is the Super Locrian mode. Yes, don't be scared. It's basically B flat, A, B flat, C, C sharp, E flat, F, G, A. You can hear that has a lovely exotic sound over the top of that chord, and that's what I do here. You know, you get that A7 chord, and then into the D minor kind of thing for the beginning of the bridge there. So it's just a simple little that kind of thing. I think I played something like that. just using those notes. I might do a video on those exotic scales and so on and so forth. If there's any demand for it, let me know in the comments. But for now, that is a little bit of an edited highlights of what I was doing in this slightly gypsy jazz version of Parisian Walkways. And there you have it. There is, of course, a full tab up on my Patreon page for that whole thing, along with a jam track as well, and that little clip that you've just seen me kind of doing there, where I'm playing the tune and kind of having that little explanation of it. Now, in terms of the jam track, that intro section, which is just the chord melody part, is just free time. It's what they call in the trade rubato. There is no tempo to it, no discernible beat. So, you know, it was a bit tricky to put a jam track together that you could actually play to. So what I've done is I've left a very kind of faint version of the melody still in there, so you can kind of use that as a guide to play along with. And then when the band kicks in, you're up and running and you're good to go. As I say, all of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description. And that's just a special little thank you to all of my wonderful Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, everyone. It truly, truly is appreciated. And that is pretty much it for you today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you have, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not give me a like while you're at it. As I say, thank you to everybody who's supporting me on Patreon and in all of the other ways. All of the links are downstairs in the description. Thank you to anybody who's doing anything like that to help me keep the lights on around here. And thank you in advance if you're thinking about doing it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.